Sanga. It is Saturday, and it is October 25th already. 25th, 2029. No, 2025. Just thought I would scare you. Okay. Where are we? Yes. Whoops, somebody's microphone is on. Yeah. If you can turn microphones off, Anantavrama and Yamuna and Gopi Krishna.
They're translating, Guru Maharaj.
They're translating. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, excuse me. All glories to the translators. Okay, let's get started. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuttapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tang Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitangscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripat sindubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hey Krishna, karuna sindhu dinabandho jagatpate gopesha gopika kanta radha kanta namostute. Tapta Ganchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Here's a prayer from Stavamala Tribhangi Chanda Stava, Untitled Prayer number 2. This is in Shivaram Swami's book, My Daily Prayers. And the Sanskrit goes like this. Prachinanam bhajanamatul adushkaram shinvato me naryasena jvalati hridayam bhaktileshala-sasya vishvadrichim agaharatava karnya-karunya-vichim asha bindu kshitam Asha bindu kshitamidamupethyantare hanta shaityam. I am very weak and lazy to do even the smallest devotional service. And so, when I hear of the peerless and difficult to perform services perfected by great devotees of ancient times, my heart burns with despair. But, O Lord, O killer of Aga, when I hear that your waves of mercy splash everyone, not only the demigod Brahma, but even the most insignificant creature, my heart is sprinkled with a cooling drop of hope. A cooling drop of hope. Asha bindu ukshitam. Ukshitam means sprinkled. Bindu is a drop, and asha is hope. And shaityam is cool or cold. So prachinanam bhajanamatulam dushkaram shrinvato me. So shrinvata means heard, having heard me by me, the atulam dushkaram bhajanam, the bhajana, the practice, the devotional service, which is atulam, which is incomparable, without equal, dushkaram, difficult to kara, to perform, prachinanam, of the ancients, of those who come from ancient times. Then naryasena jvalati hridayam, my heart, jvalati, it burns. Let's see. Naryasa, my heart burns with despair. I think it means despair, naryasa. Bhakti lesha alasasya. So alasa means lazy. Lesha means means very little. Bhakti lesha alasasya. So of the one who does lazy little bhakti, so referring to himself. And then Vishvadrichim, I looked up Drichim, it means spread all over, everywhere available. Agahara, oh you who killed Aga, the Aga demon, Aga snake. Tava akarnya, akarnya means having heard, and tava is your karunya vichim, vishvadrichim. So karunya is, of course, mercy, karuna, which is vichi. Vichi means waves. The waves of your mercy are vishvadrichim, they're spread everywhere. Having heard this, asha bindukshitam idam. So this drop of hope is sprinkled. Idam, this drop of hope is sprinkled. Upa iti, antere, antere within. And upeti would be upaiti, it has maybe approached or entered. And hanta is an exclamation which can mean, it can be a positive exclamation or a negative exclamation. It can either be like, oh no, or it can mean, yay. So in the prayer by the gopis, uh, identified as Srimati Radharani, Hantaya Mandirabala Haridasa Varya, this prayer or this verse glorifying Govardhan. It starts out Hanta, and yeah, generally that would be understood as a happy expression. Right, today is the observance day of the disappearance, the Tirobhava Titi of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada. So on this day, according to the moon calendar, in the year 1977, Srila Prabhupada departed from our vision. And so I thought it would be nice to go through one song which he composed. I was not familiar with this, and so this is something for all of us. Let's see, what is this saying? Sharing memories. Okay, we can say something about that later. So let's see. I have this ashtakam called viraha. In this version, it's called viraha ashtashtakam. Okay, otherwise viraha ashtakam, ashtashtakam, which is Srila Prabhupada's, we can say a meditation on his spiritual master, whom he refers to, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, as Prabhupada, because he was acknowledged and is celebrated to the present day as Srila Prabhupada, which for younger devotees may be a little bit confusing, devotees who are not so familiar with the history before Srila Prabhupada, but before our Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada accepted the honorific, I would say honorific and also affectionate expression Prabhupada offered by some of his early disciples, which some of his godbrothers were not happy about. But Prabhupada insisted that it was all right, it was appropriate, it is one term that can be used as an honorific for one's guru. So he said like that. But he is referring to his Prabhupada. Okay, so we have in the chat the verses, and we can go through them as we have been doing with the Narottam Das Thakur songs, and before that the Bhaktivinoda Thakur songs. Let's see if our devotees here. Do you have? You're just listening. Okay. If you want to see, you would have to connect. Oh, okay. Okay, then I need to get something here. Yeah. And put it here. And we'll put it, let's see. Uh, 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 uh. Hmm. Okay. I do that. Yes, that works. Okay. And there we go. Okay, viraha. I would like to be able to say, but I don't know when Srila Prabhupada wrote this. Other than it seems that he wrote it on the occasion in some year of Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur's Tiruvala. So I'm guessing that. All right, verse 1, Jiver, darada-dukhi, Srila Prabhupada, viraha vasaratava heri avosad, avosad. O Srila Prabhupada, you personally suffer to see the suffering of the fallen conditioned souls. On this anniversary of your separation, I feel utterly despondent. Despondent means very sad. So, jiver darada-dukhi. Dukhi, of course, means a person who is sad or who is miserable. And so the suffering of the jivas is what is in this first phrase, jiver darada-dukhi, Srila Prabhupada. So you, Srila Prabhupada, are a dukhi. You are one who is sad at the suffering, I guess is darada, of the jivas, jiver. Viraha vasare. In this time, vasara, I think means year, actually, of your separation, viraha, tava heri avasad. Heri, tava heri. Well, I think it has to do with seeing, but avasada must be translated here as utterly despondent. Okay, then verse number 2. Abadha karuna sindhu katiya mohan Nityananda korechila prema-vanya dan. This is taken from a song by Locana Dasa Thakura called Nitai guna-mani. The ocean of mercy was previously dammed up. It was blocked. But Lord Nityananda himself cut open a channel, thereby releasing an outpouring flood of pure ecstatic love of God. So abadha, I believe, means blocked. Karuna Sindhu. So the ocean of mercy, abadha, was blocked, was like you make a dam to stop water from flowing. Katiya, it says here Mohan, I think it's Muhan in the song by Locana Dasa. Katiya means cut. So having cut through this dam, and Mohana here, I don't know. Mohana means bewildering. It can be a name of Krishna, but I'm not sure it should be Mohana. Nityananda karechila, prema-vanya dan. Prema-vanya is an outpouring flood, translated here as an outpouring flood of pure ecstatic love. And karechila means he made or he did. So Nityananda made this outpouring flood of ecstatic love. And dana is, well, it can mean charity. So, yeah, he is giving this flood, this charity. And the third verse, Jadir kavale chila srota pravahite tader badhila maya vrata parahite. Those devotees to whom the responsibility was given to continue spreading this flood of love somehow became overpowered by Maya and were reduced to simply performing ritualistic Hindu ceremonies for the benefit of materialists. That's a kind of, it's a liberal translation, we could say. So parahite would mean for the benefit of others. And vrata means vow, but it seems it's being translated here as ritualistic Hindu ceremonies. And now some of this I don't know at all. Kavale, chila, kobole, those devotees to whom the responsibility. So jadir, I guess, of whom. Kavale, chila. Srota means the like river flowing, or it can mean, and pravahite, the carrying on. So the spreading of this flood. Srota can mean flood, I think also. So jader kavale chila. Chila is the past tense of to be, achen. And anyway, somehow it means that those who received this responsibility for spreading somehow became overpowered by Maya. Tader badhila Maya. They were badhila. They became tied or bound. Maya bound them. And so, vrata parahite, they just did rituals for other people, for mundane people, something like that. Jati gosai name taro prabaha badhila. Apani asya prabhu muhan kulila. Lord Nityananda, in Lord Nityananda's inundation of prema was thus obstructed, badhila, pravaha badhila, by those known as Jati Gosai, or caste Goswamis. So Jati Gosai name, no, name in name, literally, those who are named Jati Gosai, the caste Goswamis. But then you personally came, O Master, Apani Asya Prabhu, to open wide the floodgates once again. Muhana Kulila. Kulila, I believe, means opened, and Muhana maybe means wide. I don't know. But I suspect that this should be in verse 2. I think that should also be Muhana, not Mohana. And Apani Asya. Apani is you in respect form, Apni, I believe, and Asya, having come. It's this gerund form, Asya, having come. O Prabhu, O Master, Muhana Kulila, you opened up the gate again. So this gate was blocked, Pravaha Badhila, by these Jati Gosai people, but you opened it up again. Premera Banyai Abar Dubal Shobare Mo Hena Dina Hina Potita Pahamare. Again, you engulfed everyone in the deluge of pure divine love. Even such a low, wretched, fallen, and sinful soul as me. So, prema-vanya, this flood of prema, abar means again, dubal, shobare, it flooded it, it flooded everywhere, everyone. Mohana, such a one as myself, mohana, dinahina. Dina means wretched, hina means having nothing. Patita, patita pamare is, patita is fallen, and pamara, sinful, I guess. Mahaprabhur agya bole, shevaka shobare, guru rupe, patale, jiver, dare dare. On the strength of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's command, Mahaprabhu Agya Bole. Bale is in or on the strength, the power. Agya means order. Mahaprabhura, of Mahaprabhu. Sevak Sabare, you sent out all your servants. Sevak means a servant. As spiritual masters. Sevak Shabare, all your servants. Guru Rupe as spiritual masters. Patale, let's see, sending them out, patale, jiva dvare dvare, to the door-to-door of the jivas. Patale, let's see, Sevak Shobar. Yeah, I think that's right. I hope. And number 7. Samudra Himachal Sharvatra Prachar Tomar Virahe Ajo Shobha Ondokar. The devotees were preaching everywhere. Sharvatra Prachar, from the oceans to the Himalayas. Samudra means up to the oceans or from the oceans. Himachal to the Himalayas. But now that you are gone from our midst, there is only darkness everywhere. Tomara virahe aja. Aja today, tomar virahe, in your absence, shobha andakar, everything is darkness. And finally, jiver darada-dukhi, Srila Prabhupada, viraha vasare tava heri avasad. It's repeating the first verse. O Srila Prabhupada, you personally suffer to see the suffering of the fallen conditioned souls. On this day of your separation, I am utterly despondent. So it's a sad song, and at the same time, it's a nice glorification of Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur as a follower of Lord Nityananda. Okay, let's put this to music. Let's put it to music. This is in what's called Payar meter, which is a regular 4/4 beat. Jivera darada-dukhi Srila Prabhupada viraha vasare tava heri avasad. Jivera darada-dukhi Srila Prabhupada viraha vasare tava heri avasad. Jivera darada-dukhi Srila Prabhupada viraha vasare tava heri avasad. Abadha karuna sindhu katiya moha Nityananda karechila prema-vanya. Abadha karuna sindhu katiya moha Nityananda karechila prema-vanya. Jadera kavale chila srota prabhavite tadera badhila vrata parahite. Jadera kavale chila srota Jati Gosai Name Tara Prabhu. Whoops, let me try. Get this right. Jati Gosai Name Tara Prabhu badhila apaniya siya Prabhu Muhana Purila. Jati Gosai Name Tara Prabhu badhila apaniya siya Prabhu Muhana Purila. Prema-vanya abara dubasopare mohanadina hina patita pamare. Prema-vanya abara dubasopare mohanadina pamare. Mahaprabhur Agyavale Sevaka Shabhale Guru Rupe Bhatale Jivera Jare Dvare. Mahaprabhur Agyavale Sevaka Shabhale Guru Rupe Bhatale Jivera Jare Dvare. Asamudra Himachal Sarvatra Pracha Tomara Vihare Aja Sabra Andakar. Asamudra Himachal Sarvatra Pracha Tomara Vihare Andakar. Svera darada-dukhi Srila Prabhupada Vira Abasare Kava Heri Abasare. Jivera darada-dukhi Srila Prabhupada Vira Abasare Kava Heri Abasare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada ki. So because today is Prabhupada's viraha, time of departure, I thought, let us read some about his presence with us. And I always get inspiration if one is feeling a little down. I recommend read Chasing Rhinos with the Swami.
Guru Maharaj, just the sound for musicians, if you could put.
Yeah. I recommend, if you're ever feeling down, read Chasing Rhinos with the Swami by Shyamasundar Prabhu. Shyamasundar Das, one of Srila Prabhupada's very early disciples. And yeah, I would say a very jolly devotee. And he often likes to say how his, whenever he was with Srila Prabhupada, it was always a great adventure. The spirit of adventure was always there. Every day was full of surprises and interesting and exciting challenges. So what do you think? Shall we do this? Shall we read some? I won't read too fast for our translators. And it's also nice to go slowly and sort of relish. But also some of Shamasundar's English will be a little difficult for you, for some of you. And so I may need to explain some words. One reason I like to read this is, for you to experience also some rich English. Srila Prabhupada, of course, wrote in English, and many devotees' only exposure to English is through his books, which is very good. That's very good, but there's also other rich expressions of Krishna consciousness in English language. I know that in your mother tongues, whether it's Polish or Croatian or Russian or Spanish or what else? That naturally you like to hear in your own languages, and I'm sorry I can't provide that for you. But I think it's nice to also hear in the language that Srila Prabhupada was instructed to preach in, the English language. Sometimes Prabhupada would preach in Bengali and sometimes in Hindi. He was, of course, he grew up in Bengal, so he was this was his mother language. And he was a very fluent Hindi speaker. He lived many years in Allahabad, had his business there as a householder, which is very much in what's called the Hindi belt of India. Okay, I'm reading from Chasing Rhinos with the Swami, Volume 3. Why this title, Chasing Rhinos with the Swami? Because this was an expression Prabhupada said perhaps more than once, that it's kind of a saying, I guess, that to chase a rhino means a rhinoceros, or hunting a rhinoceros. If you fail, no one will criticize you. So you try your best. And of course, if you catch the rhinoceros, then that's very glorious. If not, no one will criticize. That was that was Prabhupada's. So he was saying we try our best in our preaching, and many times Prabhupada was taking amazing risks. And in this section that I want to read, this is during the time when Srila Prabhupada was in a quite intense conflict with a certain Mr. Nair in Mumbai about acquiring the land on which now is situated the Juhu ISKCON temple, a very large, very impressive complex temple and theater and guest house and more guest houses and hall and so many things. Restaurant is there. So this is before, this is in 1972. 1972, in the process of acquiring this land, and this Mr. Nair is the owner of the land, but he is trying to cheat Srila Prabhupada. Apparently, he had a tactic. He would get people to put a down payment on the land, and then he would make some kind of excuses why they could not then acquire the land. And then he would turn around and get someone else to put a down payment on the land. So in this way, it was a kind of, we say in English, a racket. And Srila Prabhupada understood what was happening, and he had very absolute conviction that we are going to win and we are going to acquire this land. Why? Because he had installed deities on the land. Hare Krishna, welcome, welcome. Haribol. Devotees have just arrived from Wuj. So he installed Shri Shri Radha Rasa Vihari, and it was his absolute conviction that now this land belongs to them. Okay, so it's early morning, and Shyamasundar is with Prabhupada in Ahmedabad, which is in Gujarat, north from Mumbai. Shyamasundar had just arrived, I believe, the day before, and they're staying at the home of one wealthy gentleman. So Shyamasundar writes, ding, ding, for the sound of Prabhupada's bell. Shyamasundar, softly said, but cutting through a door and down the hall and through another door and into my sleeping skull like thunder. Wham! My body flies from bed, fresh from a dream. Prabhupada calls. and I hit the ground running. It's an English expression, like instead of stepping on the ground and then starting to run, it's like you're already running before you put your first foot down. So I hit the ground running, literally dashing down the hall, struggling to remember where I am, because he's just arrived at this place, and how to reach that voice. My heart leaping, jumping with joy and dread. Dread means fear. Did I do something wrong? As I grip Prabhupada's door knob, the door latch, squeeze a breath and plop to the floor. So he's opened the door and he's immediately offering obeisance to Prabhupada in his room. And he says, I catch a quick read of his mood. In other words, he looked at Prabhupada to try to immediately understand what is his mood. Ah, he's calm and thoughtful. Maybe I'm safe. As I scoot across the rug, as I slide over toward Prabhupada and compose myself before his desk, he, Srila Prabhupada, points to his dictaphone, that big, gaudy watch someone gave him hanging loosely upside down from his swan-like wrist. So somebody gave Prabhupada a big watch, some big heavy watch, and Prabhupada is wearing it because he accepted so many things. And Shyamasundar sees how that watch is sort of hanging off of his wrist. And Prabhupada says, the letters are ready for typing. Shyamasundar says, I am grinning from ear to ear. So he's very happy, always filled with delightful wonder at seeing him again. It's been, what, 4 hours? And this morning I took an extra pause to drink in the beauty of his face. Is it the flickering fluorescent table light that casts his cheeks in blue? A couple of crows call through the pre-dawn curtains, rustling softly behind him. Outside, I can hear distant temple bells, a taxi horn, the scurry of early traffic, the rushing of early traffic. His big teeth flash white and gold in the shadows behind the desktop pool of light. Full face moving now into the light. Those soft doe eyes, doe is a female deer, those soft doe eyes, so like the sacred Brahmin cows of India. His velvet neck, velvet is a soft kind of cloth, his velvet neck bristled, bristle means was on edge with downy gray, hard to translate that, in the early morning. What matter of creation is he to possess such perfect youthful radiance. So Shyamasundar expressing his amazement at the charming attractiveness of Srila Prabhupada's his face and his whole being. Then Prabhupada says, "So you have taken rest?" And Shyamasundar, "Yes, Prabhupada, but I got lost in the hall trying to remember where I was." Because he just arrived that last night in this apparently big mansion. Prabhupada's face cracks open in a laugh, eyes opening very wide in surprise. Then he shuts them tight and his cheeks stretch back to impossible limits and his head bobs up and down in a full belly laugh. His eyes are open again now, moist with delight, as he contemplates the strangeness of our high-speed journey. And he says, between gasps of laughter, "You are just like what is that? This goat tied to my string and always bumping." And Shyamasundar says, "Yes, Prabhupada, even if you lead me to the slaughterhouse." And then Prabhupada says, "That is the position of Guru, to lead you to Krishna, even you do not want to go." So Prabhupada was always ready with a lesson. Even he's laughing at the situation. Shyamasundar continues, "I brought a big packet of letters that had arrived in Bombay for Prabhupada." So Shyamasundar had sort of been going back and forth to Bombay, where this trouble was happening with this Mr. Nair, and where Tamal Krishna Goswami was together with Garuda, not Garuda, with Gurudas, I think. Okay, so now he's come back and he's bringing letters with him from Bombay. We sat to answer them, and it was such a relief not to think about Juhu legal problems, that is, the problems with this land acquisition in Juhu, Bombay, but to focus instead on this vital lifeline to Prabhupada's worldwide movement. Prabhupada dictated 17 letters over the next 3 days, several of which are unforgettable classics. And then he quotes from, I think, 3 letters. So I'll read the first. The first is to Balavanta in America. At that time, Balavanta was trying to be a politician, running for the position of mayor of the city of Atlanta. So Prabhupada writes to him, "I have had a good laugh and enjoyed your tricking the opponent candidates in the election race." So I don't know what that refers to. It's not mentioned here. And then he put the whole matter of politics and fighting. So this is Shyamasundar explaining now. He put the whole matter of politics and fighting and thus unsaid the current situation with Nair into an eternal perspective. Okay, Prabhupada writes, but one thing is we have not got anything to gain by fighting the demons in the streets and courts. No, our process of solving the matter is simple. Just like Krishna, he did not call for fighting until after every chance for settlement failed. And here, it's not mentioned, but we can understand Prabhupada is referring to the Mahabharata, the Battle of Kurukshetra. There was so much attempt at diplomacy between the Pandavas and the Kauravas. And Krishna was involved in that diplomacy. Here, Prabhupada is saying he did not call for fighting until after every chance for settlement failed. So we shall try to overcome our opponents by, first, our words and our behavior, and all means of friendly approach we shall attempt by sober planning, and only later, all else failing, shall we actually fight. That is our philosophy. And if we stick to these lines of politics and diplomacy as set out for us by Krishna, we shall expect always victory without any doubt. So again, Shyamasundar is pointing out that it's clear to him that Srila Prabhupada is thinking about his own fighting situation to acquire this land in Juhu, Bombay. The next letter is to Shukadeva in Seattle. Srila Prabhupada wrote, my request to you is that you enter into the universities and colleges wherever possible and preach there with a view to recruiting some first-class devotees for helping me manage and push on this movement all over the world. Now, it continues, but I would say Srila Prabhupada was always thinking how to not only himself preach and spread Krishna consciousness, but how to get it to continue after his departure. This was 1972, he's speaking, but so this was 5 years before his departure. But he would speak about how he knows his time is limited. And in this particular instruction, he says, recruit some first-class devotees for helping me manage and push on this movement. Later, Srila Prabhupada is going to say many times that he wants to retire from management and he simply wants to translate. But it was not possible. There were always so many demands on him. So the letter continues, that will be the best contribution. Now spread this idea also to the other leaders, meaning the other leaders within Prabhupada's society. Appeal yourself to the high class of men, not the mass. Mass, too, we do not eliminate anyone. But if best men are there to run on things, mass will follow later. And then Shyamasundar explains, he says, Prabhupada asked me to handwrite a note at the bottom of this letter, quote, kindly Xerox and distribute copies of this letter to all temple presidents, GBC, and sannyasis. So this was a message he wanted all of his leaders to receive. Preach in the universities and the colleges, get the qualified people so that they can carry on this movement. And if we get qualified people like them, then the mass will follow. That was his hope. And a third letter. Shall I read a third letter? Yes. This one is to Tushta Krishna in Australia. Srila Prabhupada wrote, all of my disciples are pure devotees. Anyone sincerely serving the spiritual master is a pure devotee. Amongst ourselves, one should respect others as Prabhu, Master, one another. As soon as we distinguish here is a pure devotee, here is a non-pure devotee, that means I am a nonsense. And Shyamasundar says, and here was the kicker. Kicker means the really shocking strong point. Quote, your next question, after leaving this material realm, this material world, does the devotee remain forever with his spiritual master? The answer is yes. And if somebody does not go to the spiritual sky, then I shall have to come back to take him there. One should remember this, and every one of my disciples should act in such a way that they may go with me and may not have to come back to take another birth. And then he says, Siddha Swarupa will go, you will go, Shyamasundar will go, all others will go. We will have another ISKCON there. Of course, Mr. Nair must stay. So Mr. Nair, this is the man who was causing so much trouble in Bombay uh, with this land acquisition. Hare Krishna. Maybe I should pause here and see if any of you want to make any comments in regard to this. Oh, I see the note. It seems Srila Prabhupada wrote it in December 1958. Okay. Thank you. That's interesting. So it was before Prabhupada left for America. And let's see. Volume, yes, this is volume 3. And let's see, there's a question here. Mahatmika, oh yes, we see you here, Mahatmika. Welcome. And you're asking, what are the qualifications that Srila Prabhupada was looking for? I think you're referring to this second letter where he's urging Shukadeva to preach in universities. Is that right? Yeah. He doesn't specify qualifications in this letter, except apparently, well, he uses the word first class, and he indicates he wants them to help manage. So it seems he was looking for devotees who would be qualified as leaders. And many times he would speak about his desire to create a Brahminical society, as he called it, Brahminical culture. And by Brahminical culture, well, in summary, you could say it meant following principles in Bhagavad Gita as described in the 18th chapter, verse 42. Shamodama taposocham kshantirarjavameva cha jnanam vijnanam astikyam brahmakarma svabhavajam. 8 qualities of Brahmins are listed. Shama means equanimity, and Dhamma means restraint. Tapa means austerity. Shocha means cleanliness or purity. Kshanti means forbearance or forgiveness. Arjava means can mean honesty or straightforwardness. Let's see. Kshantir Arjavam Evid Vijnanam Astikyam. Yes, jnana, of course, means knowledge, spiritual knowledge. Vijnana, Prabhupada usually would say realized knowledge or wisdom or applied knowledge. And astikya from asti means, he would translate something like being religious. Asti, the astikas versus the nastikas. Astikas are those who are faithful to scripture, specifically the Veda. So that's the general idea. In another letter, Srila Prabhupada wrote to Karandar Prabhu, who at that time was, I believe, president of the Los Angeles Temple. And Prabhupada was concerned because devotees had an idea to organize the temples in America as a kind of, they wanted to sort of consolidate them into one single, I guess, legal organization. And Prabhupada said, no, they should be independent. And in that letter, he used the phrase independently thoughtful. He wanted devotees to be independently thoughtful. Sometimes he would say, he would use a kind of American expression, use your brain. He wanted devotees to use their God-given intelligence to serve Krishna, not to become overly dependent on others' guidance. So does that a little bit clarify for you, Mahatmika?
Yes, Maharaj. Thank you so much.
Uh-huh.
I was thinking is Kshatriya qualities also included because that
Mm.
is that helpful in leadership or
Yes, good.
harmonical qualities.
Yes, good point. Certainly, Kshatriya, let's see if I can remember. Mm, Shaurya, which is something like heroism, Dhriti, Shaurya, Teja, Dhriti, uh, Jot, I forget. The qualities, I have to look. Mm, I wanted to learn this. And then Yudha Chapya Palayanam, Dhanam, Ishvara Bhava, I think is the relevant one here. Ishvara Bhava means having the mood or the attitude of a controller, of a leader. But let's see, 1843. I should know this by now. Shoryam, Teja, Driti, Daksham, of course, Daksha. Daksha means expertise, skill, mm, capable to get things done. So that's listed with the qualities of the Kshatriya. Sharyam Tejo Dritir Daksham Yudhe Chapyabhalayanam Danam Ishvarabhavascha Kshatram Karma Svabhavajam. Mm. Heroism, power, determination, resourcefulness, courage in battle, generosity, and leadership are the natural qualities of work for the Kshatriyas. Yeah. Courage in battle. And that's something Srila Prabhupada shows specifically in this whole story of his fight for the land. And this will come out more in following pages of this section, how Prabhupada is very, he's determined and he does not withdraw. Yudhe cha api apalayanam means not withdrawing from the battle, staying with the battle. Uh, and what did I want to say? Yeah, leadership, skill, all of this, daksha, this was also very much demonstrated by Prabhupada in this fight with Mr. Nair. He knew very well how to take each step from the legal side. He would, they were ordering lawyers do like this, now do like that. It was a very complex story, which is told in more detail by Giriraj Swami, who was also very kind of close to the battlefield. In his book, I'll Build You a Temple. Mm, yeah,
Thank you so much, Maharaj, for explaining.
I'm just now reading. You are a project manager.
Dear Lalita Mataji is my mentor, uh, and I'm really grateful to join your Sangha today.
uh, nice that you could join. What sort of projects do you manage?
Um, so it's in the IT field,
Mm-hmm.
basically working on the websites or adding AI for them.
Uh, Everything has gone digital and AI nowadays. What will we do if there's no electricity? Prabhupada said there will always be electricity, but I don't know if there will be always they say that for all these electronic devices, there is need of rare metals. And the processing of these rare metals is quite complex, apparently. You get them out of the earth. And what I saw is they're kind of widely available. It's not that they're just in China and one place in Serbia. They're in many places, but anyway, to actually get these takes a lot of processing, and that means a lot of energy. And then one has to ask, what do we do? How is that going to be processed when there's no more oil? I wonder. Anyway, it's very nice that you are doing. So maybe you can also help with the management in our little ISKCON society.
I hope so, with the mercy of the devotees, if I'm qualified.
Very good. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, let's see. Now, there was a question earlier. Also from Dear Lalita. Do you want to just say, Dear Lalita, what you wanted to ask? Oh, you're translating. I'm sorry, I forgot. It's complicated. Okay, I'll read. Would you be so kind to share some of your memories of chanting together with Srila Prabhupada? What did it feel like, and where were you when you got the news that Srila Prabhupada has left this world? To the second part of the question, I was here in Poland. I was in Wrocław. And by that time, it was quite clear that Prabhupada would be leaving very soon. And the mood was, because we were not with him in Vrindavan, the mood was get out there and preach. This is our mission. And so I was in Wrocław together with Dear Krishna, at that time Prabhu, now Bhakti Sudhir Goswami. And I have to say, because we had seen Srila Prabhupada in London just some days or maybe some weeks before that. And it was from our perhaps mundane vision very clear that he was getting ready to leave. So it was not a surprise. It was, I think we were somehow prepared in a sense. It was very different for me from my experience and many devotees' experience of the very sudden, very unexpected departure of Tamal Krishna Goswami. That was very difficult to process. Chanting with Srila Prabhupada, my first memory is when we came to Paris, and there was a public program. It was in l'École d'Architecture. In the School of Architecture, there was some sort of lecture hall, and there were maybe 100 people there. It was not a big crowd, maybe even less. And Srila Prabhupada had all of us with him up on the stage. There was a stage. And Srila Prabhupada, as he often would, he started his lecture first with kirtan, singing Jaya Radha Madhava, playing kartals. And again, as he often would, his eyes would be closed. And as the kirtan would become more intense, his eyes would be closed, but then he would open them. And if I remember correctly, there was one very small girl in front of him. As he opened his eyes, she was there sort of dancing. And Prabhupada smiled, what we saw as a huge smile. And as soon as he smiled, the kirtan became, as we would say, thunderous. It was just everyone pounding drum mridangas and so on. So that was a very deep impression. And the other deep impression I have, I didn't have opportunity to chant japa with Srila Prabhupada, but the other kirtan experience was London Ratha Yatra, 1973. When Srila Prabhupada was there, it must have been in July. I guess the same route going from Marble Arch. And there were 3 carts. And Srila Prabhupada usually would sit on Subhadra's cart. But this time he was too much, as we say, fired up. He was so happy and full of energy that he was not up on the cart. He was with us in the kirtan, walking with us as we pulled the carts. And he was in front of Subhadra's cart, as I remember. And I was also there. And it was just so amazing to see him, this, from a material perspective, elderly gentleman, but walking all of this way, and much of the way with his hands raised in the air like this, and with tears in his eyes. It was not just a show. He was feeling very deeply how this is a reenactment of the Puri Rath Yatra. And we might imagine that he was feeling the presence of Lord Chaitanya and his associates like that. There were photos made of Prabhupada at that time. I've rarely seen those photos, and I don't have them myself, but I know there's at least 2, 3, or 4 photos from that time. And one can see, as I remember seeing the photo, one can see the tears in his eyes. Yeah. So then, Hare Krishna, anyone have anything to share today?
May I?
Yes,
May
please.
I, Guru? Bible,
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna, obeisance, how are you?
I'm pretty okay. Thank you.
Good. Yeah, I often think about Prabhupada, like especially the early days. You know what the expression "walk a mile in his shoes,"
Ah,
like when he got to United States and he was by himself. And by your experience when you went to Germany by yourself, it's not an easy thing to do, to go from one continent, not just a country, but one continent to another, from going to kind of like warm Bengal to cold New York.
or Vrindavan. Yeah.
Yeah, and then yeah, Vrindavan. And then I was reading he had a white plastic shoes. And
Yes.
he, and imagine walk.
Absolutely no insulation. Absolutely no insulation.
Yeah, exactly. And imagine walking in those plastic shoes in New York
In
in
winter.
the winter.
Yeah.
And then those who haven't been to United States, they don't know because it was mentioned in the part of New York that he was staying wasn't that safe. There were homeless people and was smell and urine. And those
Mm.
who haven't been to United States, they don't know how actually that looks like, which can be very, very scary. And then Prabhupada was going and I was reading, he would go like a general and then with his head raised up and he would say, Hare Krishna. And they would just
Hare
like
Krishna.
move. Yeah, they would just like move. Kind of like a Moses, that he would just, they would just like move, stand up
Yeah. He would get
let
out of
him
the way
go.
as he would go into his flat.
Yeah, exactly. And then years later, when I was in San Francisco during the Ratha Yatra, I just came from LA to go to San Francisco Ratha Yatra. I was on a Subhadra's chariot, and then I didn't want I didn't want to. I wanted to partake time in a festival in San Francisco,
Which year
and
was
that was early 2000s. I think you already left. I think it was early 2000s.
that? Hmm.
So there was, I think her
I
name,
was in Berkeley in 1997, 98.
yes, I don't I'm not sure if you remember, I got to United States like 97, 80ish, I don't remember.
Mm.
And then we stayed together in this house in San Jose. We
Mm.
had a
Yeah.
storefront temple. You remember that? Yeah, that was really nice.
I spent
Uh,
the last 2 weeks
yeah,
finishing my,
exactly.
finishing my master's degree at Graduate Theological Union, Berkeley. I spent the last 2 weeks in the San Jose Temple
Yeah, exactly. So that
because
was
because the fire department had inspected the Berkeley Temple and
right.
they had seen that I was staying in this caravan in the parking lot with an electric cord connected into the temple building, and they said, "Not going.
right.
You have to get out."
And those who didn't see this little caravan, this was like very old school caravan that you will attach to a car, right? Like it was
No,
tiny, or it was it? I remember kind of like very like foggy. I remember a little bit
no,
of it.
the caravan was actually a quite, I don't know, for me, a good size. It
Oh,
was
it was spacious.
not so small.
But
Anyway,
anyways, sorry.
back to
Yeah.
your story.
So this was, I think you already left. So this was maybe a couple years later.
Hmm.
So I went to San Francisco Ratha Yatra. I didn't want to go on a chariot because I was already on a chariot. I wanted to, pull the chariots and dance. And then I think her name is Madhuri Kandambini, Serbian lady who was in
Yes.
Berkeley.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, Baba, get on the chariot. I was like, no, I don't want to. And she's like, go get on the chariot. I was like, no, I don't want to. And she's like, Baba, get on the chariot. I'm going to whoop your behind if you don't get up on the chariot. And then years later, I was thinking about this. I was standing by the ocean with my friend. I was saying, like, how lucky are we to be here in this moment when Prabhupada was here many, many years ago. And then we went to Frederick Street, where the temple was first temple in San Francisco.
In
It was,
Ashbury.
yeah, it was kind of like Haight-Ashbury area, but the temple was in Frederick Street. So Haight is like this, Ashbury is like this, and then you go a couple of blocks down the street, and then Frederick Street, it was like this. And then a few blocks from there, maybe a couple of blocks from there is Golden Gate Park.
Mm-hmm.
So it was very, very, very nice. Like, it's just like I just love reading about Srila Prabhupada and his pastimes, and then relationships that he had with his disciples.
Yes. And there's a famous photo of Srila Prabhupada standing before the Rath cart. I believe this was from the San Francisco Rath Yatra. He's standing with his arms raised. It's like a huge like victory expression.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, just Srila Prabhupada always. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada always felt that Ratha Yatra in particular was a kind of victory march, I think, for him. A victory, not just a victory of Krishna, of Lord Jagannath, but somehow it was a victory of Vedic Indian culture against or over the Western colonizers.
There is a really nice book about Yamuna Devi, A Life of Unalloyed Devotion. It's so beautiful. It's very nice, very, very nicely written. But it's actually filled with pastimes with Srila Prabhupada.
Yes.
It's like so many nice pastimes with I think actually it was more about Srila Prabhupada than about Yamuna.
Which reminds me, I'll mention it here just in case anybody present knows. I loaned my volume 1 of that book to someone at least a year ago. And of course, I don't remember who I loaned it to, and it hasn't come back, which kind of confirms the statement regarding loaning books. To lend is to lose. But I wouldn't mind getting it back if I have volume 2, but I don't have volume 1. Anyway.
I don't know if you remember in the volume 1, there were the way how San Francisco Ratha Yatra started. There was this Mataji who went to this store. There's a stores in America, they sell these foreign goods, like little charge kits.
Yes. We know that story. That was
so beautiful.
Malati Mataji, yeah.
Yes, so beautiful. Well, wasn't in San Francisco the like first time when they wanted to have Radha Yatra, or was that in London that the chariots kind of fell apart?
Oh, yes, I believe in London the wheel or wheels broke on, I don't know if they had only 1 or 3 chariots, but the wheel broke, and it was I don't know which year that was. I wasn't there. Maybe it was 71. But it was very much a challenge after that for the devotees to get permission again to have Rath Yatra. eventually they got permission and it went on. And I don't know how many years later, the present wheels, the 12 wheels on the 3 carts were made, were built, were made by the Queen's Wheelwright. It's a company
Wow.
that was officially, recognized, blessed by the royalty. And this is a fun fact, is that each one of the wheels cost 3,000 pounds. So 3,000 times 12, Hare Krishna. Anyway, so those wheels are still good after some years. But yes, your point, it's a special feeling. And I encourage devotees, if you, for one reason or another, would be going to the US, do make a stop in New York and visit Tompkins Square Park, where the Prabhupada tree, the Hare Krishna tree is, and go to 26 Second Avenue, Matchless Gifts, which is still being rented by the devotees. And Hare Krishna, more devotees have come here. Jananivas wants to send me a first volume. Yeah, that would be nice. I would just be happy to get the one back that I loaned. And then I'd be happy to loan them volume 2. But anyway, then I would remember who I loaned it to.
Oh, may I one more story that I just
Yes.
remembered, if I may.
Okay.
If anyone else wants to go, I'll
Yes.
give my spot.
Go ahead.
Oh, so I think Upendradas was telling this story. So in the Matchless Gift in early days, there was a Srila Prabhupada picture from his passport where he was very serious. And they told him, Srila Prabhupada, you need to put a picture that you're smiling. And Srila Prabhupada says, like, that was the most ecstatic picture in my life. I was going to United States when I took that picture. Something like that in those lines.
Yeah. Well, that's another example of Srila Prabhupada's determination, the story of what he had to do in order to get all of the papers together, including his passport, and getting the permission. We've talked about that some weeks ago, on the day of his landing in Boston. So yes, indeed, Prabhupada was very, very happy about that for sure. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Anything anyone wants to share? Otherwise, I'll read a little bit more from Shyamasundar. And of course, I recommend this book. Oh, I should explain, I think it was last week I suggested if devotees could watch this short video that was produced by the GBC to kind of explain what the GBC is all about and to sort of inspire appreciation of the work they do. And then it turned out that video became unavailable. I don't know what happened. It was taken down. maybe because they want to improve it. I have no idea. But Avadhuta Rai supplied me with the text from that. And if he shares it with everyone else, but you can read through the text, and of course we could discuss that. But I thought it would be more interesting and in a way more enjoyable to see the video and then discuss. Oh, now now Yamuna says the video is available. Okay, maybe it went down and went back up. So if someone, maybe you, Yamuna, could send the link. There's the link. Just see. Okay, there we have it. So the next time we meet. And when is the next time I should mention? I don't know yet, because I don't know yet what. It's a bit doubtful next week because I'll be in Dubai. And that day is called Kirtan Dubai. So I suspect I may be expected to be there. But I'll be able to say more sometime later this next week. But whenever we meet again, we could discuss this little video, if you like. Okay? Okay, here's a little more of Shyamasundar. On the evening of December 11th, so this is 1972, Tamal Krishna phoned from Bombay. That afternoon, he and Giriraj had attended the Chagan Lal versus Nair notice of motion hearing before Justice Desai at the Bombay High Court. Okay, so there was some court case, and they attended the official hearing. The judge granted an ad interim injunction in favor of Chagan Lal. So Chagan Lal was one of the lawyers that the devotees had hired. So the judge made a decision in favor of them called ad interim injunction. That means it's a temporary injunction, restraining Nair from selling the property and thus effectively freezing the situation at Hare Krishna land. Then Giriraj explains, he says, during the course of the proceedings, Justice Desai appealed to Mrs. Nair. He requested Mrs. Nair to execute the conveyance in favor of one or the other parties from whom she had taken money. So this is, I explained this before, they were taking money from more than one person to buy the property, and they were cheating in this way. So this judge says, look, just give the property to one of them, and then the thing is solved, okay? But her solicitor, that is her lawyer, replied that she had found still another purchaser for considerably more money, and that she wanted to sell to some unnamed third party. Okay, that's Giriraj explaining. And then Shyamasundar says, when he hears the news that Nair would be restrained by the courts from any further action at Hare Krishna land, until the Chagan Lal case was settled. That's apparently this complication of the case with Mrs. Nair and somebody else claiming the land for themselves. Prabhupada is very happy. He comments that now he has Mr. Nair right where he wants him. Prabhupada wants to immediately launch a civil suit, another legal case, against Nair, and he dictates a letter of instructions to Mr. Baisanya, which I mail to Tamal Krishna in Bombay. And then he quotes the letter, and I won't read it because it's a little complicated legal language. Prabhupada, in this letter, he sounds like a lawyer himself. It's quite amazing. Prabhupada was not, at least officially, trained as a lawyer. He was experienced as a businessman, and perhaps as a businessman, he had some experience with lawyers. But just the language of this shows he really knows what he wants and what to do. Prabhupada writes to life members in Bombay, calling them to a strategy meeting at 4:30 on the afternoon of December 18th, when he is due to arrive back in that city. Quote, Prabhupada says, we have neither changed our plan, nor have we any intention of changing our plan of developing Hare Krishna land in Bombay. We shall stick to the place to the last moment, and we request your cooperation very much. I shall be the last man to give up the Hare Krishna land to the rogue Mr. Nair. The rogue. So again, this is Srila Prabhupada's amazing in his amazing determination. He's absolutely committed to this. And then Shyamasundar goes on to describe Prabhupada giving lectures in Ahmedabad. That's where he is with Prabhupada, as he's describing here. And so they're having these lectures in a pandal. And in these lectures, there were question and answer sessions at the end. And these would go on for as much as 1 hour. And many times these people asking questions would quote something in Sanskrit. And Shyamasundar gives an example. He says, one man from the audience asked, quote, then Guru has been defined like this. Ajnana timirandasya jnananjana shalakaya chakshurun militam yena tasmai shri gurave namaha. But now I have understood everything from your grace, and now that ajnana has been removed. I have now become more Krishna conscious than before. So, should I give credit to all those gurus who have helped me to understand, or should I now select, or should I accept this guru or that guru only? So that doubt should be cleared. And then Shyamasundar says, Prabhupada's replies were complete, deep, scholarly, and laced with Sanskrit quotations. Oh, he's not going to give his specific reply to this one. Oh, well. In fact, in his lecture on December 14th, the final night of the program, Prabhupada quoted more than 70 Sanskrit verses from a dozen scriptures, astounding this erudite audience. They had never seen or heard a Swami who knew this much. Nearly 15,000 people attended that night. So that's quite something. So that was December. I wonder if that was recorded. It must have been recorded. December 14th, 1972. That would be interesting to listen to that particular lecture by Srila Prabhupada. And I think our time is almost up. I wanted to say, let me go back here. I wanted to say that time is passing and deadline is approaching for writing Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 4 Reflections. It's now the 25th of October. How many more days are left to the 1st of December? Around 35, I would say. 30 days hath September, April, June, and November. Yes, 30 plus, if we include today, let's say 35 days. But tomorrow it'll be 34, and then it'll be 33, and then it'll be 32, and so on. Rasodhari tells us he has 6 texts up till now. I don't think we can publish a book with only 6 texts. I should mention, Rasodhari, I have revised my reflection, so I'll send you that. So, yes, please, all of you have something to say, something inspired by one of the passages in the Bhagavatam, 4th canto. Okay, end stage of writing, that's good. What about the rest of you? Such a nice opportunity to focus on 4th canto Bhagavatam, or one session. Chitra Vilasini says she's also writing, very good. Such an opportunity to focus on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4. You can pray to Ganesha to get inspiration. Ganesha is identified as the scribe of Vyasa. How's that? Or you can also pray to Srila Vyasadeva and to Shukadev Goswami and to Sutta Goswami and to Vidura and Maitreya and so on. They're all there wanting to help you. What do you think? What is holding us back? Now I've put you all on the spot.
Laziness.
Silence.
I said laziness.
Laziness.
What was the word from the
Which mode of nature is laziness?
Well, what was the word in the poem that you just read about the laziness?
Oh, well, alasya, yes.
Alasya.
But which mode of nature is laziness?
Goodness. Lazy, intelligent.
Oh, now we're getting a cheeky answer. Okay, I think we'll end there, and we'll say thank you all so much for joining us, and we wish you all the best for this coming week, and stay safe and stay sane and chant and be happy and write. Write and be happy. Okay. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Gaur Premanande.
Hari Bol.
Thank you very
Hari
much,
Bol.
Guru Maharaj.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Guru Maharaj.
Guru Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Guru
Krishna.
Maharaj.
Jai Radhe.
Family.